Here. Joanne Smith here. Beth Shimon.
Here.
All right, and we will say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will start with the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll second.
Motion by Rox and second by Dale. Any discussion? Changes? Okay. All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda as presented?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Open forum, we'll start with Jen from Ellers. Do you like to go ahead?
Sure. Let's start us off here. Does everyone have a copy of the pre-sale report for the general obligation facilities maintenance bonds?
We do not.
Okay, I can share my screen so that you can see that here. Why don't we do that? That'll be
Great, thank you.
easier for you to follow along. All right, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so I'm just gonna walk through the pre-sale report, and this is for the issuance of the general obligation facilities maintenance bonds. This is really to wrap up your financing for your big building project, and now this is for indoor air quality and roofing projects. So we're at a little over 2.5 million for these projects. Back in August 18th of 2025, the school board approved a resolution with an amount not to exceed 2.7 for issuing bonds. That was really an early estimate. So at this time, we are estimating that the expected par amount for the bonds will be closer to the 2.525 million to wrap up the project. Again, the purpose here is for your indoor air quality and roofing projects, and that's will be approved by the commissioner. It has been approved by the Commissioner of Education as part of your long-term facilities maintenance plan as well. The bonds will be issued for a term of a little over 16 years, and the principal will be due on the bonds in the years 2029 through 2043. The bonds maturing on February 1 of 2025 and later will be subject to prepayment, which just means that on February 1 of 2034, we will take a look at the market at that time. And if interest rates are lower than how the interest rates worked out on this issuance, you'll be able to decide if you would like to refund or refinance the bonds at that time for interest savings to the district. So we will be watching for that in the future. You will be participating in the state credit enhancement program for the issuance of these bonds, and really what that does is just assist with the rating that the district receives on. So you will receive the state of Minnesota's AAA ratings, and we will also go out for an underlying rating for the district as well. You currently have an A stable outlook for the underlying rating, which is great and in line with your similar type of districts and the state of Minnesota school districts as well. We've reviewed all of your existing debt. We will continue to monitor that for any potential savings in the future. On this issuance, you will be required or obligated to provide some reports for continuing disclosure. You are already doing that for your outstanding debt, and we do prepare those and file those reports on the district's behalf. So we will continue to do that for you. We are also working with the district on the investment of these bond proceeds. So we'll continue to do that to make sure that this project all gets wrapped up and that the district has earned their full potential on the bond proceeds throughout this process. You have some other service providers. Bond counsel will be Kennedy and Graven. You have a paying agent, and that's just required by the credit enhancement program. You have to have a paying agent in place for that program. And then you are also working with the rating agency, which is S&P Global Ratings. I'll just walk through the debt issuance schedule for you, so you can understand moving forward how we will work through to the closing of the bonds. So I'll just start back in August. The school board approved the resolution authorizing the sale of these bonds. Tonight, we're presenting the pre-sale report to you. No action is needed tonight, so this is just informational for you. We will work to have a couple of calls with administration, and those should occur around the beginning of the week of August 3rd. And then once we're through that process, there will be a preliminary official statement that will be distributed to the market, and that will occur around August 6th. And then on August 17th, we will receive and evaluate those proposals from underwriters. And we will attend the school board meeting that same night to walk through a sale day report, and then the school board will approve the sale of those bonds that night as well. The estimated closing date on the bonds is September 10th, and that is when the bond proceeds will be available to wrap up your projects. We've got some attachments listed here or included, and so I'll walk through those for you also. The first attachment is, we call this the sources and uses. Again, this is estimated at this time because we have not sold the bonds yet, so this is all estimated. When the bonds sell, then this will all be updated, and you'll have kind of your final document for the sale day results. This document we've included, we went back to the school building bond portion of that issuance and the LTFM bonds that were issued alongside of the school building bonds, just for your reference. So that is all final, and that has all already occurred. And now we're just wrapping up and issuing these facilities maintenance bonds. And so that's the LTFM IAQ that you see there, and the LTFM roofing portion. So that's what we are issuing right now. And if you go all the way over to the right, I'll make this a little bigger here. You go all the way over here to the right, this is your estimated project costs. And this will be the amount, the little over 25 will be the amount that will be available for your projects, and that includes investments. So you can see that you're covering the total project cost with these estimates. The next couple of pages are going to be debt service schedules. So this just shows you the principal and interest payments over the life of the bonds. And so this first debt service schedule is at issue summary, which means it includes everything. It includes both the IAQ and the roofing portions in one debt service schedule for reference. And I should say, when you look here, there's this column that has CIF on it. The district has already levied for this bond issuance. So we'll use some debt service funds on hand to make the first interest payment on 8/1/27 and a portion of the interest payment on 2/1/28. So that's what that means. That's also on the page before with the sources and uses, that you will use some of those debt service funds on hand since you've already levied. The next page is just the IAQ portion. So this is just your indoor air quality, and this is the debt service schedule showing the principal and interest payments, and also using some debt service funds on hand for the first interest payment and a portion of the second interest payment. And then we also wrap up with the roofing portion. Now we'd like to take a look at this visual for you. Just so that you can see your existing commitments already. So that includes those school building bonds. Sorry about that, I'm trying to make this a little bigger for you. This includes the IAQ portion and the roofing portion as proposed new board approved bonds, and it also includes your existing commitments. So after the existing commitments, this is kind of your existing tax rate right here in the middle. Then you'll bring this one issuance, which happens to have two purposes. Those are right here, the IAQ and the roofing. And then over on the far right, you'll have the new tax rate. It's a lot easier to see this in this chart. So I will, this is the same thing, but just in a chart form. So the gray is your existing debt. The dashed blue and dashed orange are these new bonds coming on. And you previously levied here, that's why you see that there. Move this down even a little more here, so you can see the dates. And then this little dashed box here is that you're gonna use your debt service funds on hand to make those interest payments that I referenced before. And then this is what the new schedule will look like once these bonds are issued. And you can see that just kind of fills in and stays very level, tax neutral, moving out into the future. And that's what we have. So does anybody have any questions on that?
Any questions? No. No? All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Jen. Board members, there were Eller's reports that were printed for you. If they did not make it to the table, they are on Christina Dowdy's desk for you if you want to pick one up after today's meeting.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, we will move on to Lauren from CISO.
Thanks for having me tonight. So tonight, I'll be presenting the district's long-term facilities maintenance, or LTFM plan. This plan is an important component of our long-range financial and facilities planning and is required under Minnesota statute. So first, I'm going to talk through LTFM requirements and outcomes, and then we're going to review the schedules, which should be in board book. So long-term facilities maintenance, or LTFM, is a state-authorized funding designated to support health, safety, and environmental compliance, fund maintenance of school buildings and grounds, and ensure long-term facility integrity. It's governed by Minnesota statutes 123B.595 and serves as a replacement for prior statutes related to deferred maintenance, alternative facilities, and health and safety. It requires a 10-year facilities maintenance plan annually, which is board approved and commissioner approved, as well as additional reporting throughout the year. So in short, this plan determines how LTFM revenues are used, including any bond financing. We have some milestones and deadlines each year. So board approval of the 10-year plan needs to happen before July 31st of the year. We do a submission to MDE also by July 31st. The MDE commissioner approval is required prior to the levy certification, which happens in September each year. The mandatory documentation, 2 of which we're going to require today, and 1 of which we'll ask you to do, 10-year expenditure plan, which we'll look at here in a minute. There's a 10-year revenue projection, which is in Excel, also we'll look at here in a minute. There's a statement of assurances, and also board resolution of an approval. So there's additional narratives required for asbestos, fire safety, IAQ, or roofing projects in excess of $100,000. As well as deferred maintenance projects of $2 million per site. The funding mechanisms for LTFM plans, there's a few different options you can go. There's levy, which is in essence pay as you go. You can issue bonds, or you can do combinations of both. If bonds are issued, the plan must include a bond schedule, principal and interest, project list funded by bonds, what Jen was just talking about there. So the LTFM plans and project coding, the projects must align with UFAR's finance codes, which you'll see in the expense plan that I'll project here. It simplifies internal tracking, and it's an MDE requirement. So MDE actually receives a summarized version of the larger plan, which we have in-house. So tonight, the school board is approving the total cost of proposed maintenance projects, the use of LTFM revenue to support these projects, the potential issuance of bonds and related debt service, as well as assurances that included costs are statutorily eligible. So our next steps presented tonight is a 10-year plan completed internally with district partners, Ellers, finance, and leadership. So huge thank you to Shelby and Jen from Ellers for their collaboration on this plan, as the construction and debt issuances make this much more complex than a standard year. So now I'm going to show you our plan on my other screen here. There's 2 different sheets we're going to go through. We're going to start with the expenses. Can everybody see?
Jessica just went to go grab the sheets. But yeah, you can go ahead, Lauren.
Okay. pretty small, so apologies there. So what we're looking at is the MDE schedules that we update annually. So this is our expense schedule. So all considered with big projects happening right now, the 2026 column here is our best estimate at the year-end closeout. So as you can see, we have our finance codes down the side. These are all only LTFM related expenses here. So 2027 reflects much of the LTFM work in the current construction projects, which will be closed out here. 2028 and on are made up of estimates and or known future needed projects. So the further out we get, the more difficult it is to predict what is needed in the future. Just as a heads up, we revise this each year with the best known data that we have. So that is our expense plan high level. All the way down, we reflect Fund 1 and Fund 6. And then, so onto the revenue. So line 6, this is our current year APU or adjusted pupil unit based on actual projections. And then we hold it steady for future years. Again, it goes through fiscal 2036. This is consistent with what we've done in the past, not knowing what's going to happen with our student body in the future. So line 7 is a building age input, average district building age. This is an input from MDE that we report on annually. And then down here we have our standard formula allowance at $380 for LTFM, which gives us our line 10 initial revenue. So going down, line 16A is our existing debt that is LTFM related. 16B and 16S are our new debt that are health and safety and roofing related. And then if we keep going down, there's a lot of embedded formulas in here. So hitting the high parts, lines 35 through 48 that's our revenue calculation. It's all formula driven within this sheet. And lines 51 through 62 is the revenue summary by fund. So we have our debt service fund and our general fund. And then the pink space does not apply to us as we're not a grandfathered district. So what we're seeking tonight is the school board approval. And then I will submit the full plan and documentation to MDE for commissioner approval. So I recommend you approve the LTFM plan as presented. And now I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Lauren, when I don't have it in front of me, they just went to try to find it. They thought they had the right form, but they didn't. So Jessica went down to get it again. But anyway, when I was reviewing it today, I just saw even in the 2026, 2027, there was a lot of zeros. And so can you tell me, is it because, not too close, is it because we just didn't have a lot of categories that we spent? I mean, I assume that's right, but I just thought I felt compelled to ask, how come so many zeros?
For sure, and you're speaking to the expense side of the formula?
Right.
Yeah, so the funding, the way when it comes to expenses, there's very specific requirements to be categorized as LTFM or long-term facilities maintenance. It's quite restricted. So we will hold or put in here what we're able, but there's many areas in which we don't use LTFM or we don't have eligible expenses that would fit in that bucket or category. So great question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And now, since we're going out 10 years, are we looking at projects that, you know, we still need to do even after this construction?
Yes, another great question. So the further out we get, the more unpredictable it is. If there's known replacements that weren't done within this round of construction, we could call it out in the future, and we've done that in some cases, but so think of like air handling units on the roof or some things that we know are larger that need to be taken care of at some point in the future if they didn't hit this round of construction. So fortunately, each year we do a measurement and we look at it again and see if there still is known needed things in the future. But once we get, a few years out, it really truly is an estimate for what we think we would need.
We do have that on our plan though, right? Like
Right, yeah.
We have projects on there that we know we wanna do. But as things come up too, Lauren, right, we can reprioritize.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the good part about being able to look at this each year. And even if it's something we don't think we could do in 2 years, maybe we could put it off for 3 years, but it's, we're always trying to consider also that, the taxation effect of it as well, since it goes onto the levy. So, it's a good tool to use, for that purpose as well.
Okay. And I think too, it's gonna be important to make sure that the stuff that we have replaced, we continue to make sure that it stays in good condition.
Yeah. Maintenance.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Any other questions on the LTFM plan?
Anybody have anything else? Beth, did you have anything?
No, and I didn't hear who made that comment, but I want you to know, as we've gone through the construction pieces, we are unveiling areas that we have to pay a little bit deeper attention to, but we are really working closely with the facilities coordinator in addition to CISO, and really prioritizing our work and identifying what is maintenance, what is short, and what is long-term planning.
Great.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. All right, no further questions.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren and Jen.
All right, I don't think we have anybody for public open forum. So we will move into committee and administrative reports. Mrs. Tate.
I don't have a lot to report on the high school side. I have spent a large part of the summer building the schedule. We are almost there. It's been a pretty complicated schedule to build, just trying to ensure that we can satisfy as many student requests as we can with College of the Schools and our new electives. Just trying to get as many kids, either the AA or the Minnesota transfer curriculum, or like I said, getting them into the new elective classes. So that has been a challenge, but we're just about done. So that will be nice when we're done. We'll feel good. When that does become completed, expect to see some budget items coming for some of our courses. We'll need curriculum, of course, like we have several new electives that we'll be offering that they will need materials for to teach those classes. So those will be coming in August. Also in August, you will see a large purchase for the curriculum cycle. The elementary staff went through last year and reviewed several English language arts curriculum, and they landed on CKLA, which is aligned with the science of reading and approved by the state of Minnesota. And so we did purchase that for K through 8 so that we could start aligning some of our materials here at the high school too. So that's a larger investment that you're going to see in August, but it is a 6-year cycle. So and literacy curriculum is often more expensive. The Journeys curriculum that they're using now is outdated. We were actually up probably 2 years ago for literacy curriculum at the elementary school, but we put it on pause as we were finishing our science of reading training, and then also kind of waiting for the state to make their recommendations before we made a purchase. So we didn't want to make a hasty purchase. So this will be coming in August, the purchase, and like I said, and that is aligned for K through 8. So when you see that number, you probably gasp a little bit, but know that it's it equates to about $21,000 a year for the elementary for K through 6. But again, that's 6 years, so know that. Also, we are looking at our calendar dates. We did have a date scheduled for homecoming, but we did find that it is conflicting with one of our athletic teams. So we are working with our company that is coming to do presentations or training in October to see if there is any flexibility in changing dates. So you could potentially see some calendar changes. The kids really wanted to have school on the day of homecoming. And so that's kind of our dilemma right now. That Friday, we don't have any school and we really only have just a couple of home football games to work with. So I'm trying to work with that company right now to see if there's any flexibility in adjusting that date. So hopefully we'll have more answers.
So that would switch the whole homecoming week, right?
It would.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions for me? Yes.
Missy, at our January MSBA conference, they talked a lot about the math curriculum changes in the state of Minnesota, and that we had to send our teachers so they were trained on some of this new stuff for I believe it was for the upcoming testing. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, there's new math standards that will be implemented, and Alex and Jay have been attending some trainings, and we have started meeting with a small group to start looking at some different math curriculums. So we're starting to work on that process, but it'll be a little bit before we select something.
Will it be this fall?
We'll be probably taking the year to work on it to decide what aligns and what curriculum is the best.
Okay, thank you.
As far as the schedules that are still being built, do you kind of have an idea as to when they'll come out as far as students, teachers?
I don't know when we'll release them to students. Beth and I have not talked about that, and we want to really make sure that everybody's schedule is accurate before we put it out. Yep. So what's happened is I built it, but then I went through and I've started scheduling all of the kids. So I mean, it's a long process to schedule 7th through 12th grade, but now I'm just going back and refining. So it will be done soon, but like I said, I'm not sure exactly when we're going to release to the public. Hopefully soon.
Thank you.
And you,
some sort of automation tool that can help you build those schedules?
Yep. Yeah, I actually did use we used a company that was an AI company that did help us with the bulk of it, but then you still have to really go in and we were missing some things because then we had to export it into Infinite Campus. And since we're new to Infinite Campus too, that's a learning curve as well. And then you just still have to tweak things because once you start to schedule kids and you realize, oh, there's 40 kids in this class, that can't happen. I got to move something. So it's a large puzzle.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure it wasn't all manual.
Yep. No.
Okay.
No,
Like
we-
ChatGPT should be able to
Yeah,
help
we
with that.
had a great start. It was still time consuming, but we had a great start. So
Good.
Any other questions?
Okay. Does Lisa have a report?
I don't have one for her. Mostly just talking about the CKLA purchase for both buildings.
Thank you. All right. Molly?
Is it okay if I sneak in front of her?
Yeah, go ahead.
I cleared it tomorrow.
Well, as long as you have group permission.
We'll come someplace else at 6 o'clock.
No.
Hopefully. So I apologize. I usually get here in June for the spring sports report meeting, but I was, I thought I was going to be someplace else. So anyway, softball team, their season finished up with a 12-9 record with Jeff Carey in his 6th season as head coach, along with assistant coaches Shella Katie, Marissa Carey, and Mike Leahy, with 14 girls in grades 9 through 12. 17 girls were up for junior high, and there were also 4 girls that moved up for junior varsity or varsity. Christy Levine and Emily Groom were the coaches for the junior high team. The baseball team finished the season with an 8-17 record with new head coach Blaine Humbert. Chris Simpson, Darren Kittleson, Paul Joslin, and Wyatt Levine were the assistant coaches for the team, which had 26 players for grades 7 through 12. The boys golf team had 25 boys out for golf in grades 7 through 12 under third-year head coach Charlie Anderson and his staff of Dominic Casaretto, Adam Matthews, and Nick Kaviak. The team won the Iron Range Conference title. Paxton Savonin and Zach Uso qualified for day 2 of the Section 7 2A tournament. And then Paxton also qualified for the state meet where he finished in 72nd place. The girls golf team had 10 girls participate this season in grades 7 through 12. 3 of those 10 girls qualified for day 2 of the Section 7 2A tournament. Tammy Thompson, Aubrey Ide, and Mackenzie Minnick. Girls track and field, Cheryl Henderson was in her 8th year as head coach of the girls and track field team with new assistant coach Kiana Ford, as the team had 25 ladies in grades 7 through 12. The boys track and field team, they won the IRC title for the first time in 20 years under new head coach Jay Boyle, along with assistant coaches Lexi Erickson and Dale Johnson. There were 27 boys out for grades 7 through 12. The Bronco trap shooting team had 13 participants this spring. Another successful season as they following qualified for the state meet under second-year head coach Sean Bowles. Gracie Franke placed 17th at state, Joe Sullivan 21st, Jaden Stroik and Eli Kamick also placed 21st, and Linnea Yunt in 22nd. The thank yous, of course, Jody and Christina in the office doing all the stuff that helps me out to get things out there. Beth and Missy and Don always there to answer the questions, help me get through those things. Molly Larson and the summer ball board, all the coaches for the work with 420 kids participating along with the city staff, keeping the fields in shape. Speaking of that, the custodial staff and the transportation staff had to work through a lot of bus issues with multiple games, golf meets and everything this spring. It got to be a little bit of a chess match, but we got through it. All the game workers, not so many in the spring, and the officials, but we did have a few with baseball and softball. Of course, the kids, all their hard work and their time and commitment, parents for getting the kids there, picking them up late, and the coaches who put in those long days with spring sports. Fall season going to be starting August 17th with those first days of practice, and our first games are scheduled for August 27th, where the volleyball team will be in Two Harbors and cross country will be at Lake of the Woods. Any questions?
Very busy.
Have you seen, I think, I want to say somebody said that there was an increase in kids participating in the summer ball programs.
Yeah, we Legion. You're talking maybe about baseball Legion teams. Your yeah. The Dieter Humbert and his I'll say his staff, his crew. They definitely got out after it. Got us a Legion, Senior Legion, Junior Legion. We also got a 14-15U team, and they also started a 12U team for baseball. And of course, the Ice Cats have always been there for softball with the 12U, the 14U, and their 16 and 18U teams. So a lot of kids busy. Obviously, that's all coming to an end here as August is right around the corner. So those sports are wrapping up as well.
Awesome. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now run, your next thing. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lashna. You did. Okay. I have the community ed report. I have all the papers in order. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick updates on all of our programs. Early education, our preschool classes are filling up, which is really nice. We have 69 students enrolled currently in our preschool program, which is up 5 students from last year, which is awesome. We're just waiting to fill all of our classes. All of them are filled except our 3-year-old Tuesday, Thursday class. So yeah, we're encouraging families to just enroll if you have a 3 or 4-year-old, and then they'll be placed either on the wait list or placed in that class. So we're waiting on that. A quick PALS update. We had Ann Scholler, she funded, she applied for a grant for the Marshall Community Foundation, received it, and then she took her PALS painting with Sherry Serrano, which was awesome, completely funded. And now next week she goes on a Voyagers boat tour too. So she's it's so awesome. So I love watching the work that she's doing. Makes me really proud to work with her. So, and then just a general community ed update. We had a tie-dye class a couple weeks ago, which was awesome. I ran it. We had 8 students show up. I had so much fun. They all made t-shirts and took them home, and yeah, hopefully they didn't make a mess. And we had summer swim lessons in June. We had 59 students enroll, and we ran it with Little Fork too, just to make sure that all the kiddos were getting swim lessons this summer, which is awesome. Good turnout. We had driver's training last month, and then we had 20 participants, and then we have Lex Erickson's youth fitness program, which has 18 kids registered, so they're coming Monday or Tuesday through Thursday down in the weight room in the mornings, which is incredible that they're getting up that early, but they are. So Lex is having a fantastic turnout. Some upcoming programs, we have firearm safety on August 15th, and then driver's training next week on Monday, and then August swim lessons because of a high demand in level 1 and level 2. So those are currently happening on August 3rd, and we have 25 students currently enrolled in those. And then tomorrow we have elementary football camp coming up, just for a couple of days. So that was, yeah. And then we have a new aquatics coordinator, part-time, Haley Silvers, we hired. She'll be organizing our aquatics programs and hopefully increasing the number of people who are coming in our pool just because of her outreach capabilities. And we're just looking for someone to supervise our lifeguards too because they're underage. So yeah. And then upcoming events, we have our back to school night on August 26th from 4:30 to 7:30. And I'm on the hunt for community partners to come and table at that event just to make sure it's as good as it was last year, if not better. So yeah. And then I have just some updates on our childcare programming coming to our district. I have a slideshow, and I think it's this one, but you don't have color. But so I'll quickly go through it. And the other attachment is the handbook, and I'm not going to go into detail on that. But if you want to take a look at it and take a peek and give me any suggestions or anything. Okay. So we have ISD 361's Community Education School Age Care Program, which I entitled Bronco Kids Care. And so this program serves kindergarten through 5th grade down in West End. And the goals are to provide childcare, enriching activities through positive interactions with our staff, and then just a variety of activities after school, and then just a supportive environment so those kids are able to safely be in that school and wait for their parents to pick them up. And then it's also to provide affordable childcare to all ISD 361 families, and then to help address the childcare crisis around our state and our community, because it's a definite need that we have. So our goal is to have it down in West End, and then after school Monday through Friday, 2:50 to 5:30. The stages of program development, here's where we're at. So I've completed the registration portal on ARUX. So it's not live for parents to register, but it's made, it has been created so people are able just to easily go in there and register their kiddos. I've created a program handbook. So that's all finalized, ready to go, which is like a big feat that I had this summer. I had major goals set out to to develop this program. And then we've created job descriptions for childcare staff. It's on the board agenda tonight to approve the posting of those. So I'm hiring a program lead and then a program assistant, just so we have that 1:15 ratio. Next steps, securing program space. We're still, West End looks scary right now. So we're looking at what it's gonna look like down there and buying all the furniture and all the materials, because we have a large grant that came through from the Northland Foundation that is for childcare. So we're just trying to spend all that money too. And then marketing, so we're gonna get the word out to our families to hopefully get them registered. And then this one's just kind of like the portal, what it looks like from the ARUX end. And then, let's see what else I have. Oh, it was very quick. And then just any thoughts, questions, or suggestions on this program that will hopefully launch in the fall.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know you've done a lot of work on this, a lot of time, energy, and extra, and so it's very much appreciated. I think this is amazing. So great job.
Yeah, well, thank you. No, I love developing programs like this because it's like, we need it in this town and in our community, and it serves all the kids, so yeah.
Have you gotten any inquiries? I know that you're not quite ready.
No, I'm not quite ready. We had a survey go out probably last fall that I asked families kind of like what hours they were looking for, if they were interested. So I used that to guide kind of like what hours we were serving, and then just kind of activities and stuff. But yeah, I think it'll go well.
And how, let's see, how much of a routine does it have to be? They can't miss so many days?
Well, okay, so if you go to the program handbook, and there, let me look at what page it's on.
It was right at the beginning.
They can
Okay,
sign
page
up.
6, section 2. They sign up for days. So if you know your schedule is like you want 5 days of childcare, then you can do the 4 to 5 days a week schedule, and then it's $13 a day. Or if you just want it 1 day a week, like a Monday or something, then it's just $15 a day. So you get to pick kind of ahead of time your schedule.
But can you vary the days like any week, given week?
Yeah, so that's why we have the pick your day schedule, kind of to be cognizant of the mill and like the hospital schedules where they might have a Monday off here or like just like random schedules. So we're kind of aware of that going into it. So
You've got really every question almost that I've thought of.
I'm sure there's
You've
more out
got
there.
answers in here. I may have been slow on the uptake to get them, but I know on the ones that I initially started, it's like, okay, I underlined all the answers before I had to ask them. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, it was like and these programs are already developed in other districts too, so they really helped me out in developing all the stuff that we needed for it and making sure that it aligned with our district, but also it was aligned with the school age care ran through community across the state. So yeah.
So being we offer preschool, but we're not offering that kind of care?
It's okay. So their school age care is only the funding can only be used for kindergarten through 6th grade. And there's different funding for preschool childcare because the ratios are different, and then the staff have to have different trainings. But so because preschool is 1 to 10, so we're kind of piloting the K through 5th.
Okay.
And then hopefully we can get those kiddos that are younger.
Just in case anybody asks
Yeah.
us, we have
Yep.
some.
Yep.
Thank you.
Kelly, is there an initial limit as to how many kids you can take?
I'm gonna cap it at 30
Okay.
initially, depending because I want to hire 2 staff.
Okay.
Just so we have that ratio. But if it goes beyond that, then that's really exciting, and then we can hire more.
Okay.
More staff.
Awesome.
And are you,
So board members, I want to just briefly touch base on this. First, I want to recognize the work that Molly has done on this behind the scenes. As you can see, she's presented some really good starting point information tonight. One of the things that we wanted you to do is we wanted you to take information and look at it. Along with the building administrators in August, we will adopt the handbook and some of the policies for the 26-27 school year, but this is an opportunity for you to provide feedback because it is going to be something new we're going to introduce to the community. Some of the regulations on preschool, in addition to classroom space, is really driving a lot of the decisions that were made, and we'll present more of this to you in August. But the other piece that I want to bring attention to is Molly has spent a significant amount of time talking to other school districts, looking at other policies, looking at other handbooks. And I really cannot compliment the work enough in what she has done in preparing us to roll this out to our school district and our greater community.
Thanks, Molly.
Yeah.
Okay.
and now are you, and I know this is further into the future, but are you looking at like summer programming eventually?
Yes, that is the goal. I want summer programming in our building, that we have kids all year round, so.
Awesome. Cause I know that the previous summer program, the kids loved it. And yes, and everybody's like, can we bring it back? So
Yeah. So hopefully we're gonna hit the ground running in fall, so I'm excited.
great.
When do you think you're gonna have enough running ready for registrations?
My goal was September 1st, and now I'm worried, because the summer gets dragged on but hiring, I think, will determine, I think, the start date, depending on, I have it open till filled right now for their postings for tomorrow.
Okay.
For 2 staff, so I'm hoping that we get staff. The timing might be poor because I'm hoping to get some of the kids from the college to apply, but they don't come back, so I don't know. We're gonna see. I'm hoping for September 1st, but it might be October 1st too, but
Okay.
sometime in the fall, for sure.
Awesome.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice job. Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you. Beth,
Can you see the construction piece on the smart board, and can you hear me okay?
You're skippy a little bit, but we can see the presentation.
Can't quite.
if you can make the presentation bigger, that would be awesome.
I will do my best. It doesn't share in PowerPoint format for some reason, but I'm going to just really briefly touch base. The greater presentations will happen in August. I will be bringing all of our principals in addition to our directors and coordinators. They are going to be presenting to you in the August meeting, so plan for a long one on our 26-27 school year, and they're going to be giving you overview of our departments and our schools in addition to my presentation on our district.
So I am looking forward to that meeting in August, as July meeting today will be a little bit shorter, but prepare for a longer one in August. I want to just give you a brief update on the school board messages that I shared out with you today. We are finalizing a majority of the negotiations this evening. We do have 2 other contracts to finalize in August. Those are grant-based contracts. The biggest piece is waiting to see if the grants were going to be renewed. So we will be looking at those in the month ahead, and then we will be closing our negotiation process at the August meeting. We are also going to be talking briefly about, you will see on the board agenda tonight, we're going to be talking about enrollment. We have slated our standard sections for the year, but we did know that based on new enrollment, which means exiting students or newly enrolled students, that we may have to look at sectional alignment to make sure we're also in alignment with what the board deemed the standard that we want to hold for our classroom sizes. With that being said, an action item that you're going to see tonight is to add an additional first grade section back in due to increased enrollment for that grade level. We are also closely monitoring our 4th grade section in addition to watching our preschool numbers as those enrollments also increase to waiting lists. You will also see on the board agenda tonight that we are going to be hiring our our full service community school coordinator. That offering has gone to someone internally, which also will lead to the opportunity for us to bring our 0.5 SLP back up to a 1.0, as that teacher will be on special assignment for the next school year. In addition, I want to just touch base with you briefly on the construction. You're going to be getting an invite from me to bring the school board members out in groups of 3 to do a walkthrough after work hours, so we can accommodate all of you to see where we're at prior to the big shift that we'll move to in August regarding aesthetics. A lot of this construction has had a heavy lift over the last couple weeks, and we're seeing some big grounds being made in construction overall. The first area that I want to start at is to talk briefly about the high school renovations. The check marks that you see on the PowerPoint are really areas that have been completed. One of the things that we're finding as the layers are stripped back and construction is really pinpointing specific areas, is we're unveiling other areas that need to be repaired. Some of that has been a little bit of a barrier in moving forward and or additional costs. And one area that we continue to unveil is areas of asbestos. And as you know, those have to be repaired. Asbestos has to be removed. So that has provided a little bit of delay. But we are staying on track as people are working, the construction teams are working 24/7. As you know, one of our board members took a photograph at a very late hour, and we have people that are actually in here working in teams and on shift work, and we have members doing the construction implementation at 3 o'clock in the morning. So they're really working hard to get us open for our opening of the school year. So as we look at this, we know at FHS that they are remodeling our bathrooms on that main entry floor. When you walk in, they are an area that were long overdue. And as we get in there and start looking at some of the piping, we're seeing areas that were in dire need to be replaced. So we're very excited to have the new bathroom areas for our boys and girls. In addition, we will have some family slated bathrooms, and we'll have opportunities to provide more accommodations for restrooms for our athletics and activity events on that main floor to keep everybody in that specific area. You will also see on the backside of the FHS cafeteria that the new doors have been put in to have exiting to the outside of the school district. These are one-way doors in the event of fire or safety and security. Otherwise, they will be granted and slated as emergency doors, but it is really nice to have that addition to the Falls High School cafeteria. They are currently working on installation of new floors, They have updated and the construction on our booster area, in addition to our school store, they have all been mapped in. You're also looking at seeing new floors in some of our corridors. The fire doors and the sprinklers have been embedded. You're also seeing fresh painting going up. We do have areas that need to be retouched, and we've added some additional painted areas to make sure that we don't have wings that look spotty, and to make sure there is a nice flow to the aesthetics and what the district, the Falls High School areas, what they look like overall. So it's really coming together nicely. We have locked in our paint samples to ensure that we're painting in true Bronco purple and gold. And so we do have the color coding that we're going to be sharing with all of our athletics and activities and booster clubs to ensure that we don't have different color variations of the traditional Bronco purple and gold. In addition, you will see that we had the flooring go in to our kitchen area. We had to do a lot of moving, and our facilities team has been really working hard behind the scenes to get everything prepared for the construction teams that are in. So you're welcome to take a walk. I do caution you, there are specific areas where you're going to see things hanging from the ceilings. We ask that you do not go down those corridors at this time. That is why we do currently have the district closed to the public and outside of just access to our gymnasium for our athletics and activities, trainings, and so forth. If when we do our tour, we'll also go over to Bronco Stadium. It's like a whole new facility. It looks like it was just built. The painting is complete. The ticket window area is updated. New doors have been added. We have new bathroom areas that have been added. Ref area. It's just a really outstanding update that is long overdue for our stadium. In addition to, there's a lot of safety features that are added. Because we do know that the flooring underneath the stadium was in really dire shape. So this is a building that really needed to be updated. And so I'm really excited for our Broncos as they get ready to open the school year with their football season. As we touch base about Bronco Arena, if you haven't heard, the big hype is the new lockers that are in the locker rooms for our figure skaters and our Bronco hockey players. They're very excited about them. They look like pro lockers. One of the things that we're working hard on is to ensure that as we get ready to bring our staff and students back, Principal Tate and I and Mr. Ringhoffer have talked about what the expectations are going to be for our students as they use these new areas to really make sure that we are respecting all the new accommodations that our players and our community members have access to, and making sure we implement Bronco Pride and the care both in the interim and long term. So we have completed at Bronco Arena the hydro testing sprinklers, locker installation with all of the locker graphics. They came with just a adhesive, and they would have been easily to pull off the lockers. So we worked with Up North Builders. They did a permanent fixture on the lockers, so the Bronco logos are permanently locked onto the new lockers that we had. So we really appreciate Up North Builders working with us on fixing that minor barrier that we had. In addition to, the painting has been done in all of the locker rooms, and we are currently working on trying to bring that main locker room wall up to date with painting in that traditional Bronco purple and gold, because the color variation is truly off. It's a light yellow, and we want to make sure that we have our traditional colors moving forward in all graphics that we do. As we talk about Falls Elementary, there has been a really big shift in what Falls Elementary looks like, and we are very eager to showcase all the renovations that have been done to our greater community and our school district. The new addition, it has been put on the Falls Elementary. All the walls and doors are framed in, and now what we're doing is they're really starting to do some of the finer details. So when you look at this, the new windows, the new safety and security measures are implemented and put in at the Falls Elementary, as are the new offices. The walls of the new classrooms are sheetrocked and framed in, and mudding and taping will be completed by the end of the week. In some of the spaces, especially the bathrooms and at the stadium, you're going to see epoxy floors. They are absolutely beautiful. I think the care of those is going to be highly beneficial to our facilities team. So it is very much appreciated that we were able to move to epoxy floors in these areas. Elevator was the construction for that took a very, very long time. It's very tedious work that needs to be done. And so the elevator installation will be installed and hopefully completed by the end of August. The CTE wing is also a part of the Falls High School, and we have some minor areas that we're still finishing for the CTE wing. We're looking at lockers, some safety features, and also looking at additional fencing that might need to go in, especially when we're looking at the area that was added on to the outside. And I think that's a dust collector. So we're really making sure that we have everything locked in when it comes to safety, security, and asbestos removals. Those are a priority for us. Right now, you'll see me get ready to push out an opportunity for board members to come through and to take a look at the renovations, and then we'll have a more current update from Nexus on where we're at with implementation of construction and finishing dates as we get ready to bring our staff back on August 24th and our students back around September 1st. That is the update that I have you when it comes to the construction components. Are there any questions on the construction phase before I move on?
Just one question. You mentioned the additional costs like to unknown asbestos removal and plumbing and stuff. Is that cost allowance or within the contingency allowance?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Dale. Thank you for bringing that up. So one of the things I've been working with CISO and Ellers and Nexus on is making sure that we are obviously staying in alignment to what we promised our taxpayers. So we're looking at our contingency dollars, but we're also looking at our long-term maintenance and facility plan and where we can shift dollars to make sure we cover that, because obviously we have to make sure that that asbestos is removed from our doors and from our walls and from our floors. IEA has been the contractor that has been working on that, and I will be getting an update for you. They just sent us a new update yesterday on the next phase of asbestos removal, and I'll be sharing that out with the school board in the next week. But we are using our contingency dollars and looking at our long-term facilities maintenance plan in that funding source. One area that I do want to bring up in tonight's presentation, there have been some questions around, surrounding the solar panels, and you are now seeing that the solar panels are slated to be fully installed by mid-August. There is a little bit of gray area out there and questions regarding the funding behind that. And I just want to make note in tonight's presentation that the solar panels are not part of the referendum or the construction phases of the referendum. The solar panels were a project that were led by the school board and former superintendent. It is a grant-funded project that will obviously impact our bills and our finances in a positive manner long-term. In addition to, it will also serve as an academic teaching and learning component for our science departments and our math departments and our STEAM departments. So I just want to make sure that we have those two areas separated when we talk about the referendum and school construction projects, because the solar panels are a grant-funded project. We have received the money for that, and that was a project that was applied for approximately 3 to 4 years ago by the information that I'm reading. And Member Johnson, if there's anything you want to add on that, I believe you were part of that organization.
The only thing is the CTE on that too, as far as installing panels, solar panels.
Yes. Thank you.
Where are the solar panels going? I know they were gonna be moved, weren't they? Or did they?
Well, we did have an original plan that was slated when I came in, but some of the surveying had not been completed at that time. So the surveying, we had to have the gas company out and the telephone company out to look at where their actual drilling could take place due to the magnitude of this. The original placement was not feasible for those reasons, in addition to the additional costs that it would incur the district. And we wanted to live within the means of what the grant was, so they had to be relocated. I think at the end of the day, there's pros and cons to where they would have been located either way. And they currently are on the back side of the Falls High School and Falls Elementary, and we pushed them back as far as we could based on the best location that was recommended by the surveyors. One of the things that has been asked is what happens to people that might use that area when it comes to football or golf. I want to assure the community and our athletes that we are going to have space out there for everybody to be able to utilize and continue to utilize. In addition to Mr. Ringhoffer, Principal Tate, and myself are actively having conversations with other community members to look at additional options for our athletes and our teams to work with in the greater community. And so please know, as we come up with barriers, our team is actively seeking solutions to things when they arise. But we're really excited about solar panels and what it's going to bring to teaching and learning experiences for all grade levels, K through 12.
Are they gonna be fenced in? Is there a fence around them?
That's a great question. Yes, they will.
Okay. Thank you.
Tony, you had a question?
You know, Beth, I was just questioning about the earlier pieces of, you talked about the traditional colors and getting the information to the booster groups and stuff. Can you clarify a little bit more, or is that something that's gonna be coming out soon as far as, like, is it for warm-ups? Is it for like just clothes sweatshirts that they order for, you know, sometimes they do pink outs and stuff. So I'm just curious on how that's going to go.
Yeah, great question, Member Corby. So that's my last thing I want to just touch base with in my presentation tonight is, as you know, the recommendations by the Minnesota State High School League and the Minnesota School Board Association, they're really honing in on developing guidelines and parameters for booster clubs. You're going to see a formal checklist that will be on the agenda for this evening after it is approved by the school board. Member Crosby and myself, in addition to possibly one other school board member, will be having our final meeting with the booster clubs during the last week of July or first week of August to go over what the parameters will be moving forward for booster clubs as they work under the umbrella in collaboration with ISD 361. So what when we talk about some of the color components to that, we tried really hard to go back to our traditional Bronco colors, which is that deep-rooted gold and that deep-rooted purple. So the construction teams did get us a scope and I guess a pattern that identifies the specific colors that you're seeing embedded now in the new construction. So what we're going to do is that we'll go out obviously to our athletics, our activities, our principals, and our boosters. And obviously if they're going to order new uniforms or they're going to, if they want to order new graphics, you know, they have to submit that to either the building principal or the or the athletic director, and then that has to go to the school board for final approval, especially when Bronco the Bronco logo is being used, the Bronco colors. That being said, if there is a fundraiser or like you said, a pink out, they can certainly do that. They just have to make sure that the athletic director and school principal know about it and that they approve of it. If they're looking for something more permanent, they have to go through a formal process. They have to submit their designs. They have to submit their colors. There are a number of different color yellows in the district right now, and we are locking into our specific formula for the traditional Bronco purple and gold. And we have that scope and numbers assigned that we'll distribute August 1st.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beth. Any other questions? All right, thank you. Policy committee, as you'll see, we continue to go through policies, to get updated, through MSBA recommendations, so you'll see that. Athletic committee, I don't know if there's anything. Tina's not here. No, nothing. And, legislative committee,
Yeah, at our work session, we talked about 3 resolutions that we would like to consider sending in to the MSBA. And, I'm still waiting. I have contacted my contact regarding this, and I think she's on vacation again today, but she'll be back soon. Anyway, my question to her was that this book lists all the resolutions that were considered last year only. And so what I wanted to get from her, what I've requested from her, is a list of all the resolutions, not just the ones here, because in this book, you will see that some of these resolutions will say, we didn't address this resolution because it's already on our list of things that we want to support through MSBA. And so, you know, some were new and are added to, some were rejected, and some were already in the list. And so before we start talking about the 3 resolutions that we wanted to talk about, I wanted to find out if I could review that whole list, so we didn't do anything we didn't need to do and just get a letter back saying, already on our list. But the other thing that we're going to want to consider is, do we want to go for a resolution for these 3 things we discussed at our meeting, or do we want to write to our legislator? And a lot of times resolutions, you're also encouraged to write to your legislator, but these resolutions will not, or new resolutions will not be considered until, I believe it's the end of January. And of course, then legislative stuff doesn't start being considered until about that time anyway. Or do we want to start contacting our legislators now and say, hey, I want you to consider this, whether or not it's a resolution, I'd like you to consider it. So I'm still waiting on some answers. And once I get answers, I'll reach out to everybody on the board and see what they want to do.
Sounds good. Thank you. Yep. All right, next we'll move to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'll second.
Right, motion by Jessica, second by Dale. Any discussion? I think we went over some of the points. All right, no further discussion. A motion by Jessica and a second by Dale to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll move to action items. Improving systems and structures to create a culture where all are welcome and supported. Resolution of acceptance of gifts and donations. Whereas School Board Policy 706 establishes the guidelines for the acceptance of gifts or donations to the district. Whereas the International Falls School District Board encourages the support of the district's educational programs through gifts or donations that the goals and objectives of the school district. Whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 states the school board may accept a gift, grant, or devise of real or personal property only by the adoption of a resolution approved by 2/3 of its members. Therefore, be it resolved, the School Board of International Falls Public Schools, ISD number 361, accepts with appreciation the following gifts, donations, or grants received by the school district. DNR, 6th grade donation for seed harvesting, $260. Baseball boosters, volunteer coaches pay, $3,300. Mound and pitching machine, $9,649.98. Mary Casanova, FES donation of an original painting of one of her book covers and several boxes of her books. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion by Rox and second by Jess to accept gifts and donations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, whereupon this resolution was declared adopted. We will move to resolution relating to the election of school board members and calling the district general, election. My page is over here. All right, thanks. All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Tony, second?
Rocks.
Rox. All right, any discussion? All right, a motion by Tony and a second by Rox, for the resolution relating to the election of school board member and calling the district general election. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the at-will contract. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, motion by Dale and second by Jessica to approve, the at-will contract. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Implementing data-driven teaching practices and staff collaboration to increase student academic success. Approval of 1.0 FTE first grade teaching position due to increased enrollment. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that. Rocks will second it.
All right. Any discussion? All right. Motion by Jessica and second by Rox for the approval of 1.0 FTE first grade teaching position due to increased enrollment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2029 superintendent employment agreement. Do I have a motion?
Rocks will make that. I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All right, a motion by Rox and second by Jessica for the approval of the July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2029 superintendent employment agreement. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Main,
She's stuck with us now.
yeah.
Thank you very much. It's been really honored to serve ISD 361.
All right, number 3, maintain our facilities to be welcoming, safe, and efficient for use by students and the community. Resolution adopting the school district's fiscal 27-28 long-term facilities maintenance plan. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Dale,
I'll second.
second by Jess. Any discussion? All right, motion by Dale and a second by Jessica for the resolution adopting the school district's fiscal year 27 through 28 long-term facilities maintenance plan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Tony and second by Jess to adjourn the meeting at, what is it? 6:28 PM. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carried and meeting is adjourned.
All right,
Have a good evening, everyone.
You too.